So the thing I love about positive psychology is that it is applied. It's not just a theory of things, it's actually putting it into practice. And if it works, then it works. And if it doesn't, need to try something else. It's all about right fit and finding the right thing for you. And I must say, I think I've tried nearly every intervention, but it occurred to me that one that I've not actually done myself is when we do 5 acts of kindness in a day. So for this exercise, you need to set aside a day and decide that during that day you're going to do 5 acts of kindness. And you have to do all 5 in the day. So if you do 4, then you have to start again another day. And each act of kindness, it can be absolutely anything, but it does have to have some cost to you. So for instance, if you open the door for somebody, that's not really going out of your way, that's not going to count. You actually have to plan or look for something that really has an effort from you and on your part. So the way I went about this was I decided that today would be the day, and the first thing I did was actually I scheduled something. So I decided that one of the acts of kindness that I think is very useful, and it would be wonderful if more people did it, is to give blood. So first thing this morning, I went off to my local hospital and I donated blood. So that was the first thing done. Then the second thing, I just thought, well, I'll just look for opportunities and see what happens. And on my way home, I had to go to the supermarket. And that gave me a great opportunity because when I parked my car, I looked in the bay next to me and the one next to that, and it was full of rubbish and trash and cups and things. So my second act of kindness was to clean it up, pick it up. Only took me a couple of minutes, but I was pleased I did. Then I went shopping to get something for dinner. And I noticed that there was a food bank there for people to give donations. Now, I'm very aware that I don't really want to recommend people do things that cost money because not everybody can afford to do that, and certainly not to do it all the time. But while I was in the shop shopping for my evening meal, I realised that actually if I put back some things that were actually luxuries and not necessities, like a couple of packets of biscuits, or I don't know, maybe I could get a cheaper brand of something, that I could actually use that and donate. And what I did in fact was that I bought a few things that maybe I would have bought for myself, like some little nice apple pies, and I donated those. And I decided that I was quite happy to spend a few pounds on some tins of soup and some baked beans and things like that. So that was my third act of kindness. My fourth act of kindness was to go through cupboards at home and find some things I didn't need anymore and donate those to the local charity shops. So I popped those down and did that. So none of this was really taking me a lot of time, but it was taking an effort, and it's something that I wouldn't normally have done. And then finally I got home. I didn't find an opportunity to help anybody across the road or to help somebody find their way, or I don't know what else might have occurred. Nothing did. It was a pretty ordinary journey home. So I'm going to ring my mum, and that doesn't feel quite like an act of kindness, although it is. And so I'm going to make my final act of kindness 2 or 3 things put into one. So I'm going to ring my mum, and she's not been very well recently, so I hope that I can cheer her up and make her feel all right. There's another friend of mine who I haven't spoken to for a while, and I know when we have a conversation, we both feel cheered up. We have that effect on us, so on each other. So I'm going to ring her, and then just to make sure that I've gone out of my way a bit more, I've identified 2 people who I want to say thank you to. Now, the first person is somebody I know very well, and they've been very nice recently, so I want to tell them that and tell them how much they mean to me. And actually, the truth is, I might find that a little bit embarrassing face to face, so an email seems right. And then the other person is somebody I don't know. In fact, I don't even really know their name. But this is somebody who works at the petrol station near to me, and they are always so jolly and always so nice and polite and just brilliant at their job that I'm going to, already have done actually, looked and found out the name of the manager of that garage, and I'm going to write a letter and say what an amazing employee they have and how they should really appreciate it. And then that will be my final 5 acts of kindness today. And I have to say, it feels good, and it's a great thing. I encourage you to try it. If for no other reason, it takes your attention away from yourself and onto other people. So it's a distraction, and it does feel nice. And again, I knew the theory, but until I actually did it, I didn't really understand it. And the research on this shows that people that do this, it's a real boost to happiness. And there's another version of this you might want to try, where you do 5 acts of kindness over a week. So it doesn't have to be in one day, but somehow I think it makes it a really special day. And especially if you put it in your diary and make that a date, a day that you're going to go and do these 5 different things, these 5 acts of kindness. So I hope you find that useful, and I hope you do it. Thanks.